Well, there it is. There's the 3-inch SBR rocketry Thor. So what I thought I'd do here is all together, and I think I've done everything I need to do. All the shear pin holes have been drilled and tapped and tested, and I've got holes for the altimeter, static pressure lines. All the recovery harnesses are in. I think it's pretty much ready to fly. So what I thought I'd do here is just kind of go through it step by step and kind of show you how it assembles. So if you're interested in this kit, you can kind of see. I pretty much stuck to the instructions. The only difference is I did add some extra rivets so I could take the upper part, take it apart and get to it a little bit easier. So I'll kind of show you how that goes. Let's first start with the booster section. So I'm going to try and get the camera here where you can kind of see what I'm doing. But this is the lower booster section. So this is the drogue chute and recovery harness all wrapped up, and it's on a little burrito here. So there will be the ejection charge from the altimeter. Then there will also be a backup motor ejection charge. So I'll kind of set that up a little bit whenever I do my simulations after I put the weight in and everything into RockSim. I was going to see if I could show you this. This is the altimeter bay. So it goes together like this. But on this end of the bulkhead, this bulkhead right here is where your ejection charge will come through. So I'm going to bring the camera around here and see if I can kind of zoom in and show you what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'll set up an ejection charge, and I usually do the glove tip kind of ejection charge. I've shown it on some of my other ones, but some other videos. But this is the hole that goes through to the altimeter. So what I'll do is I'll set up my ejection charge, and I'll probably tape it in here, or sometimes I just leave it loose. But then the wire goes through, and there's a little drilled like just a little indentation there for the wire to go through. Then I use these, I still can't remember what they're called, Bulkhead Connections or whatever, but they expand. So the wire will go through there, set that in. When you tighten that up, it kind of squeezes the rubber and it gets tight in that hole. So now that'll seal that off from the electronics bay. So this is all set up. It'll come together. I've got a match mark here on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and get the rocket stand so it makes it a little easier to put these shear pins in. So I have yet to check or test the ejection charges, so that'll be something else. I'm using these little shear pins. I think I got these from Lock Precision. If I did good on lining up my marks there, let's see how well this, or how easily this goes in. So these are threaded, those teeny tiny little screws. You can kind of see where when I harden that hole with some CA, you can see where it kind of got on the shiny metallic part and dulled it up. I know I'm not trying to put some polish, see if I can polish that back out, but that's where some thin CA that I was using to harden those threads got on the shiny bit there, kind of dulled it up a little bit. So okay, so now that's together with shear pins. So I'm going to lay it back down. And let's get the electronics bay going together here. So this is it. So now that ejection charge that I just put through that bulkhead there will come in and it will terminate here. It says bottom. So that is the drogue. So I actually extended the connections on the RRC3 board are right here for the ejection charges. But what I've done, I've extended that one up here. So this is the one for the drogue. So the drogue is in the lower section. Wires will come through here, connect to that. Then what I'll do is I'll feed that in like this. Then the switch, power switch is right there. You can kind of see it. Before I get that together, though, I'll need to put the main ejection charge here. So I'll get that prepared, put it in, then kind of the same way with this bulkhead fitting. Run the wires through, put the bulkhead fitting in there, tighten this screw to seal it up. Now the ejection charge will be sitting here. This goes connected to, I'm just checking my GoPro camera here so you can, this is the kind of the fiddly tricky part here. So let's get the power switch hooked up with that locking JST connector. That fits in. Let me see if I can get this oriented the correct way. This coupling goes in. Then we put the rivets in. This is so difficult to do by yourself, but bear with me. All the little rivets go in. Okay, so that end is done. So we'll have the ejection charge here for the main will be sitting there. Let's go ahead and assemble this end. These rivets go in. Okay, so that's together there. Let me get the rocket stand back up here so it's kind of a little more secure. Then what we'll do is we'll prepare the main chute. So here's the main parachute. What I've got is a Top Flight 36-inch because that's what I had in my flight box, and it's the appropriate size. So the ejection charge is already in there. There's the chute wrapped up in a blanket. Maybe I can get the rest of that in there. I'm pretending that we're doing this for real, but you know how it is. Probably put some dog barf in there anyway. Just to protect any exposed shock cord or parachute. So that'll all go in. Then the nose cone comes on. I've just tied it off. This nose cone is plastic and it's not very heavy at all. I mean, it weighs very little. So I thought about putting an eye bolt in there, but I mean, really, it's very lightweight. So match mark the nose cone and see if I can get these shear pins in. These are a little bitty and sometimes it's kind of tricky. See how good I am at lining that up. Okay. Another shear pin on top. So really before the first flight, what I will need to do is go in and check ejection charges and just see what sizes would be appropriate. There's some calculators and I can do that, but I want to test it because just to make sure it'll pop those shear pins. So it's all together now. So that's it. I use some future polish, floor polish, to kind of protect the decals and give it a real wet, shiny look back here on these cut vinyl. And that's really just kind of when you're wiping the thing off so the rag doesn't catch the edge of one of these and peel one of these cut vinyl stickers. So it kind of helps seal that up a little bit. So 54 millimeter motor mount, rail buttons. There's a vent for the bottom section. I've marked the center of pressure. Shear pins on the lower drogue section. There's 2 vent holes here for the altimeter. There's also a little bit of a vent hole here around the screw switch for the altimeter. Plastic rivets, shear pins on the front. So basically that's ready to fly. I don't actually have any charges hooked up, so let's see if the battery works. Yep. That's a MissileWorks RRC3 altimeter inside. Should give me some long beeps since there aren't any charges hooked up, so we'll see. Turn that off. So there she blows. Now I have to wait till January. I think January 11th. I don't know. I have to look on the date for the next Tulsa rocketry launch. So let me weigh it, and then I'll be able to run some simulations in RockSim and figure out how high these motors will take it. I've already bought some single grain 54 millimeter motors. So on 54 millimeters, this is what I have in the box. So there's an I-218. I have an I-229 Blue Thunder Aerotech. And I've got an I-215 Red. So any of those are good eye motors that should take a 4-pound rocket and send it pretty good. So we'll see what RockSim says. 3.96 pounds, so just right at 4 pounds. So it's a little bit heavier than what the instructions said, but c'est la vie. It's a good sturdy rocket. Okay, so that's the last video on the 3-inch Thor, probably until we fly it. May have to wait on that. But it's been a fun build.